Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Last Week in Rugby on the Bonus Point Rugby podcast. Once again, I'm your host, TJ Olsen, and with the final game of Super Rugby Aotearoa about to kick off this weekend, can't wait to get stuck into talking about all the last weekend matches. Before we get started, I just want to first thank our amazing sponsors. First off, Whalebird Kombucha. If you're looking for a great tasting beverage that is actually good for you, go try them out at your local Whole Foods, Air One, or other health food stores. Secondly, F45 Culver City. So F45 isn't just a gym. It's a real community, and their team are all there to help you achieve your fitness goals with sessions in just 45 minutes. They are currently doing outdoor workouts to avoid health issues with the new COVID pandemic. So reach out to them to get a great workout during these trying times so you can still get a good workout without being inside a sweaty gym in this hot weather. But as I said, last week of Super Rugby Aotearoa is about to kick off this week, and we are in, I believe, week 7 with Super Rugby AU about to start off. Super lucky to have my brother back in the show, Tavita Halfia, aka Knovell Capote. What's going on, brother?
Good evening, good morning, salutations, world. What's happening?
Kia ora. Yeah, no, it's,
Kia ora.
he got a few good wins over the weekend with your terrible rugby team that you're coaching for at the moment.
Leave the filth alone. I'm ripping the cap right now, baby. Brothers, baby.
I will admit that's a nice cap. I saw.
It is. You know what? I was scared that it wasn't going to fit my head, but it fits my head perfectly. Thank goodness.
The nice snug Tongan head you've got there. Yeah,
I know, right? My big old ears are being hit by the headphones right now, my bro.
Oh, man. Well, our predictions. We'll get into this episode. But how wrong were we?
Talk about the Twilight Zone. What the heck happened, G?
I know. It's crazy.
We're in another dimension. At some point, we fell asleep Thursday night. We woke up Friday morning, or your Thursday morning, and we were in a completely different. I don't know what the heck happened, G. Dude. I'm cool to call it. I'm cool to call it even because there's way too many burpees.
We're not calling it even because I'm gonna call you out because you still owe me burpees from last time. I haven't seen the other ones yet.
Nah, you're getting them. You'll get them, bro. So
in about a month's time. Yeah, there we go.
Nah. I got my gym membership's been renewed. I haven't been allowed to the gym.
Good point.
And I can do burpees anywhere, but I'm using that as my excuse right now.
Not a good excuse, but we'll stick to that.
We'll ride with it. We'll go with it.
You'll ride with it. I'll just call you out. But we'll get stuck in. We'll start talking about the Super Rugby AU. So Rebels versus Brumbies. So after the first few games where the Brumbies were caught by surprise by a Rebels team that came out firing for a win. At halftime, the score was 27-7 to the Rebels. Definitely not the score we expected. So what did you think the Rebels in this matchup?
Dude, Matt Tamora. We said it last week, bro. He's clicked. He's here. Bloody Dave Rennie's called him and been like, look, it's the number 10 spots between you and James O'Connor. I need you to show up and show out. But Matt Tamora, he killed it, man. I got nothing, bro. We're talking like a second-rate forward pack versus like the Wallaby forward pack.
So this is actually one thing I wanted to touch on is Tamora's not in his regular spot. So Tamora
He's at 12.
Tamora and Hodge had great games, but I was really impressed with Deegan at 10, especially with his territory kicks. So the kicks forced a lot of errors, and it was something where the Brumbies under a lot of pressure. You had Tom Banks knocking on or like kind of fumbling a lot. You had Andy Muirhead. You had a couple other guys if they were receiving kicks all over the place. What do you think of that dynamic of having Matt at the 12 jersey and having Deegan in 10?
I think it's a smart positional switch. I don't think it can last, though. I don't think, is it they had a lack of playmakers playing a traditional 12 when Tamora was 10, or was that the problem, or was it that they just needed to switch things up for like an attack that could actually run essentially 2 10s? Because Tamora is not your traditional 12. Even when he plays 12, he plays as a second playmaker as opposed to, what a South African or New Zealand 12 would do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'm with you. It's kind of a tactical thing they did to just kind of throw off the Brumbies because with how the
Brumbies worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked. You need something to kind of throw at them. They go, oh, how are we going to counteract that? And I don't know if it's Deegan played for either the Reds or the Waratahs previously, one of those other franchises. He's got experience. No, I think it might have been the Western Force, but he's definitely got experience in that 10 jersey where you can see he was able to command that ship and Tamua and Deegan had their own dynamic to add to the game. But
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the Brumbies. So usually we're praising them and we're going, oh, man, what a great game they had. But they came out really flat, made a lot of mistakes. What did you
Mm-hmm.
think the biggest problem was for the Brumbies?
It looked like they were just arrogant. They came out not taking it seriously. They underestimated the weather. That was a big one, I think.
Yeah, the weather played a humongous factor.
Yeah, dude. And I think like once they got to the other end, they went to exactly what they're good at, and that's off the line out the maul. They scored their first try off that through the 9. I always forget his name. I'm just not a fan of his.
Yeah,
And
I'm not really either.
yeah, no, but
a lot of people. The only thing I hear talking about is that photo that everyone posts around about how massive his arms are. It's just like how
big arms.
He's yoked, but then besides that, his pass is crap. He's not the best
Yeah,
nine.
no. But well, I mean, that's how he scored his try, right? Off the rolling maul, off the top.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, man, because I think weather definitely played a big part. But the problem is they're from the ACT. Do you know what I mean? They should be equipped to play in that colder, wet weather. And honestly, that's the best game the Rebels have played all year.
Yeah,
pre-COVID, post-COVID. So, they saved one of their best till last, and I think they were just looking for some sort of rectification to how badly they've been playing this year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think there's really much more we should talk about in that game because it was quite not necessarily one-sided, but
no, it wasn't. I just think what the Rebels did essentially better throughout that whole game is take chances and opportunities. Their offloads, they had so many more offloads. They didn't have that many more line breaks. So, when you look at that sort of statistic, you're looking at not the errors, but the chances taken when the opportunity rose. And you look at those tries, most of them were just like, cool, there was a missed tackle here and there, but it wasn't like they've just missed a tackle, scored a try. We're talking like 1 or 2 or 3 offloads to score that try. And the Rebels were supporting a lot more than the Brumbies. Brumbies were definitely a lot more one-off. And in that sort of weather, I mean, there's no point in spreading wide if you're by yourself. You need to make sure that you've got your backup there, at least another person that can clean or seal straight away. And Brumbies just weren't doing that, and the Rebels were. Like, it was really that simple. Like, you look at Naisarani, every run he had a 6 or 7 or 4 or 5 right up his clacker, ready to either keep the ruck going or latch on and maul. Yeah. And that was the biggest difference. That's what we saw. We saw a team versus a team of individuals.
Having Naisarani back in the mix for the Rebels has made a really big difference. It's kind of what I thought on the weekend with the Chiefs game about getting Luke Jacobson back. It just adds a whole nother level to their gameplay. And
he's a beast, man.
He's crazy. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to be in front of him.
No, and like I think the thing he stuck out for me because he really, you could see that. He was everywhere.
Yeah.
But he was everywhere, but like even if he wasn't doing anything, he was chatting, You could hear him like when he's close to the referees yelling out like push in, come out, shoot.
That's something I don't generally see with a lot of Fijian players. So you'll see that.
Yeah, man, that's true.
The silent assassins, they'll be there, they'll make a big impact, but they'll be ready to go for the next one. He has a lot of communication in his gameplay, which I love.
Well, if you're Dave Rennie and you're looking at a number 8 option, like that's sort of the guy that you want, right? He can talk and he's just so active, man. Like dude, I would love to put a GPS tracker on him to see how much he actually runs a game, because I just in general of the Super Rugby, both here in Aotearoa, I think that his numbers would be through the roof. Also, I think his top speed would like scare people too.
I wouldn't even want to see it because then my face would be like, oh God. Let's talk about the other game, which is one that has been big eye-opener for us. So Reds versus Tars. This matchup, the Reds versus Tars, been one of the biggest rivalries in rugby history while competing for the Bob Templeton Cup. And boy, did we get it wrong for the Reds. We came to this game with our weekly predictions. We both backed the Reds, and I will be the first to say that I picked this one terribly, and
I admit I picked them plus 20. Shit. Okay. I mean, first off, Brad Thorne made a really bad selection some selection choices for that game.
Who would you say specifically? Like what?
Well, is it Maulula? The
Oh,
half?
Maulua? Yeah.
No way.
Tate McDermott, 100%. Maulua,
Needs to be
right.
on. I think what's his face? I don't know what happened with Jordan Pataya. Obviously, something happened.
I think he got injured. I think he got injured again.
Okay. Again, though, Bryce Hegarty instead of.
I didn't like it.
We just it's Bryce Hegarty. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
The fullback. Yeah. Like that was a bad choice. He was caught out of position a lot. I think also too, Hamish Stewart has run his course, man. I don't rate him as a 12. He just got played that whole game, man.
See, I didn't really mind him his attack, but his defense, he definitely got caught out a bunch.
Oh, dude, it looked like Darius Boyd for the Broncos, just like caught out every time. Do you know what I mean? I was so angry, bro, that first half, man. I was like legitimately swearing at my TV.
I could just picture you in the room just watching it, and I do not want to list the profanity that I think would be coming out of your mouth.
Dude, man, in English, Tongan, French, and Spanish. Do you know what I mean? Like...
All right, but even though the Reds rarely win when they play in Sydney, I thought the Reds' defense and the execution on attack was both woeful. But I thought their defense was the one thing that let them down. Do you think it was the Reds' attack or the Reds' defense that lost them?
It was the defense. I mean, look at the second half. So much better. You know, they actually outscored the Waratahs in the second half. Yeah. But you look at what happened in that first half. You know, your pillar posts at the ruck, rubbish. They didn't even have someone, like the wingers weren't dropping back to cover the spots, which opened up when they were kicking through. Again, Hamish Stewart, he was leaving Balsamia to dry, man, whether he was shooting or not shooting, wasn't drifting. So then poor Balsamia had to come through and like make a decision. And the next thing you know, it's 2-on-1 or 3-on-1. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happened this week at the Reds. I too think just like the Brumbies, they went in a little cocky. Yeah. But I mean, even watching Nella and like the front row just get dominated by a younger, inexperienced front row, it was shocking.
That's the one thing that I was thinking about when I was watching the game that I couldn't wait to talk about, because even though the Waratahs had some great moves all around the pitch, their front row, it was a pretty big contest, and even better, like in the lineouts, the lineouts, the Reds were getting disrupted every time the Waratahs were on the money. But I think the best move around the pitch. Did you see that wedgie during the fight? Did you see that?
Yeah. Came out that was hilarious.
Who's the Reds number 4? So
no, I'm thinking of Harry Hawkins. He's a younger. Is it Blaine?
Whoever was playing in the number 4, he basically had someone in it with his hand in his jersey, and then I think it was the Waratahs 9 came up behind him and just kept giving him the wedgie.
Gave a bit weird, yeah.
I've never seen a wedgie break up a fight ever in my life. I've only seen them being started with a wedgie. So I definitely
Blythe, Angus Blythe.
Angus Blythe, yeah. That was. Yeah. He just turned around. He looked at him. And he's like, "What the hell?
What are you doing, dude?
What just happened?" But
yeah, man.
As opposed to previous weeks where Jack Maddox also looked awful, he looked a lot more confident. He really attacked the line, scored a try 20 minutes in. Did you think that he's looking more like the Wallabies player he used to be?
Yeah, but he's also running out of time to secure a spot. He's nowhere. He's not even in my 30 for the Wallabies at the moment.
Ooh, okay. Who'd you be?
The only thing that gets him, honestly, I think that they're going to look at Jock Campbell from the Reds.
Okay.
I mean, he can play wing or fullback, can kick, and he's just better. He's been making better choices this year on the field. So, you know, like you got Jock Campbell. I think, Jack Maddox is a specialist fullback, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you put it into sort of a, with all the other teams, I mean, from the Rebels game, you'd have to say that old mate, what's his name?
I can't remember his name. I don't. Following Super Rugby AU players is probably like the one thing I'm sitting there just going.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on, man!
good.
Don't be like that, bro.
But you got Tom Banks who's obviously a veteran in that fullback position. He's had a pretty good season. He can slot in as well. I think, yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think that he's got the time to kind of make up for his losses. But if he keeps playing consistently, I think he can make an argument for it.
Oh, I don't know, man. I just think when you're talking like your back three, you've got Tom Banks, you've got Jock Campbell, you've got what's his face, the Melbourne Rebels. I forgot totally. Korobidi. You know what I mean? You've got Danguna, who's actually playing really good footy. Yeah. And then, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like at what point does it stop them? Because you look at Andy Muirhead would have to have a look in.
He's got to have his hand up for one of those spots at least to come off the bench. Like I definitely wouldn't start him, but
no. But I mean, and Reece Hodge is the guy we're thinking about. But then you've also got like Solomon Carter for. Do you know what I mean? It's like what are they doing then? Because the thing is if you've got Reece Hodge and Jock Campbell, you don't you don't need anyone else now, right? You're gonna go. With the dynamic wingers, right? And that's, even Tom Banks, you're far-fetched to think that he could make it if you got Jock Campbell and Reece Hodge. And for me, from a fullback position, like Reece Hodge and Jock Campbell, I think Jock Campbell's the number one fullback right now.
You reckon?
Yeah, I rate him, bro. I think he's better at fullback than at wing.
I'd probably say after the weekend's game, I'd probably say Hodge would probably be my number one, just because you factor in his kicking as well. I think but Jock Campbell, right there.
Here's the thing, though. Does Reece Hodge get it over him just for kicking? If you've got Matt Tomoe in the team,
I think with broken play, I think with his territory kicks, I think definitely could. And I think it would be good to have that option. But that's the thing. Like, that's why I wish we would be able to have something like a North-South game where we'd be able to see those guys in that high caliber factor or high caliber dynamic to see those, because some of these plays that I've been seeing, he's kicking a ball against maybe a second string or a third string player comparatively. So that's
fair, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's lots. There's options. There's options, but yeah, he's not up there for me, man. He has not played anything that I'd be like, wow, you deserve a spot in the 30.
Fair enough. The last thing I wanted to talk about was we've spoken about him before on the show is Rob Simmons. So Rob Simmons wasn't in the tie this week, and I thought the lineout was actually better.
I think it was more direct. Less confusion, perhaps.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell who was calling the lineouts, though.
Okay.
So, whereas when Rob's in it, he's always calling it.
He's the one.
He is the one. He is the one for the Matrix. But yeah, look, I mean, I'm still shitty that the Reds got pumped by that. And, they lost the half. That's what happened. They lost the half.
But they lost that half miserably, and that's basically
man.
You are right. They did outscore him in the second half. So
yeah, I think that's the one thing. I watched the interviews after, post match, and Brad Thorne was just like, that first 40, we just weren't in it. There was a lack of leadership, big lack of leadership, and at that point in time, you'd assume Bryce Hegarty, who's what's his face, old rabbit, James O'Connor, would be starting the lead, and they didn't. They just got beaten around the paddock, bro. That first 40, if you were on that field, 1-15 for the Reds, you were bent over and handled, bro.
All right, we'll definitely leave it there on that one. But lots to happen. A lot of disappointment from our ends, obviously. Well, you back the Canes, so it's so with that one. But we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll talk about the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition. All right, welcome back. So the rivalry has always been my favourite matchup in Super Rugby between the Hurricanes and the Chiefs because of my strong family ties to the Waikato and Wellington, and both of those teams came up firing early. Obviously, the Chiefs had nothing to lose, and the Hurricanes needed a bonus point to stay in title contention, which I didn't actually realise. I thought they were 1 point away from even being in title contention. But if they would have won that, and if the Highlanders would have beaten them, and the Hurricanes got a bonus point, they possibly could have won the competition if the Blues beat the Crusaders. But they came out and they both knocked the stuffing out of each other. Most parts. So
man, it was like watching World War One. You know what I mean? It's like, you ready? I'm ready.
Yeah.
Are we doing this? Let's go! And they just kept.
There was so much action in that game, and especially in the first 20 minutes. But I thought that one guy who really impressed me was Scott Scrafton. Obviously not our best lock in New Zealand, but he's young, he's hungry, and he did everything.
Right?
Yeah, every maul I saw.
Dude, he must have had like some jelly on his hands because he was slipping. Like, there was literally players there, and like, I'm like, how is he legally on this ball? I was like,
he does it every week. You'll see him start from the back, and he'll just crawl his way. It'll be like he's doing like a Tough Mudder or something, and he'll just be driving through.
And that's what I mean. Like, it was just astounding, flabbergasted, bro. And like the whole game though was just sniffing. He's like, I can smell a ball. I can smell a ball.
Yeah.
I can smell a ball. My ball.
Yeah, and even like defensively and offensively, he just made such a big impact. But in the backs as well, no Laumapi because of his fractured arm. It was Aso and Umaga Jensen in the 12-13 dynamic. I think Umaga Jensen really deserves to be considered for a spot for this North versus South game. He killed it.
Him and his brother, right? I watched an old high school final because they went to Kings. And they finished 2015, and it was the high school final between Kings and Auckland Grammar. Auckland Grammar won that game, just as a side note, I'm pretty sure. And him and his brother played 12 and 13. And, dude, like, they were carving it then. They were, like, running the exact same lines he runs now. Fast forward to when I watched the game on the weekend, I'm like, this guy, bro, like, he hasn't changed much, man. If anything, he just got that little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, little bit faster on his feet. But, bro, I
think that might be the thing comparatively to his high school career now is that you are right. He is running those excellent holes and excellent lines. But even when he gets the opportunity to go on the outside, he's gassing guys like Damien McKenzie who are getting caught back-footed, and he's ripping them. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. He had an outstanding – him and Vince also had really good – they were the difference for the Canes in the end.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a lot of people –
They played amazing.
They'll underrate Vince Arsaw because obviously you got Laumapi, but when he gets an opportunity, he turns it up. He's a great
tank
player.
Man. Like him and Laumapi, bro. It's like okay, cool. So which tank do you want to get hit by today? The first one or the second one? Do you know what I mean? They're all of what 5'9", like height and width. Bloody huge, huge. You know what I mean?
That would actually be terrifying if you find someone that's 5'9" width, but that would be friggin' crazy. Well, let's get into my Chiefs rant. So obviously, 9 losses, 0 wins, wooden spoon. So really rough season for us. But two guys I've really missed in the mix is Angus Tarvell, and we spoke about him before, Luke Jacobson. So obviously Sam Cane and Lau Lala, both world-class players. They bring All Blacks experience when they need to. But at the moment, with how the performances happen, I'd take Jacobson, Boshier, and Tarvell over Cane and Lau Lala at the moment. It's just how they've been playing.
As a Chiefs fan, I totally agree.
It's just depressing because I watched Lau Lala on the weekend. When I see him play,
he's shit. He's playing shit, TJ. It's annoyed me. How do you have an All Blacks cap? What the heck, man?
Because he's usually good. He usually plays well for the All Blacks. When you put him in that jersey, he's very dominant.
Bro,
Terrible with the Chiefs.
Terrible with the Chiefs. Yeah. And, like, outplayed in every game. Like, legitimately, every game he's been outplayed across the paddock.
Yeah, his scrummaging hasn't been as good as it used to be. His broken play. Like, I think I caught 5 drop balls in a span of – probably say about 20 to 30 minutes. And 3 of them, all he needed to do was catch and carry. And then they reset that ruck and then the ball's away. They've got an overlap on the outside, but he would just look at it and then look at them before he's even catch the ball and just go, Yep.
Man, that's also fitness too, man. Like, he's looked slow. He's looked a bit bigger. Do you, bro, only Ben Tamafuna's allowed to get big and still play rugby. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one else. Not you, bro.
Can you imagine if he's sitting there going, I'm a Chiefs player. Ben did it. I can do
it, right? Yeah. That's what it looks like that's happened, though. Like, and I don't know, man. I was secretly so excited that the Chiefs, I was like, man, I'll do burpees. Get this, Chiefs. Get this. I was like, just give me one. Do you know what I mean? Nothing.
But
that's it.
I think this is where my rant is going to come into. So bear with me.
Let's go.
Two things that have frustrated me the most about the Chiefs this season. So one, taking points instead of taking opportunities when they have momentum. So that's what I mean. So it's either you are losing or you have nothing to lose on the back end of the season. Why are you taking a 3 and trying to narrowly win this victory? That's one. So just go for it when you have momentum. 2 is the one that's been hurting me the most, is just pushing silly stuff. So an example is the Chiefs had a breakaway run and they could have scored a try easily. Instead, Weber going into contact or making a simple pass, he throws an outrageous behind the back pass, tries to hit someone, hits no one, and then the Hurricanes pick it up and score a try. I understand they're professionals and they have the skill set to do this, but simple always beats flashy. That's been my number one rule my whole life.
Ball to hand, bitches! Ball to hand!
Oh, it's not that hard. So those are the two things. People debate with me if they want to or call me out on it. I couldn't care less because we're 0 and 9.
Dude, 0 and 9. Exactly. 0 and 9, bro. And the lads that should have stood up and should have led the team didn't. And they were rudderless this season. They were rudderless. I still think Gatlin's to blame for this. I think he was trying to implement.
So you're still on the bandwagon about this, okay?
Yeah, dude, man, it just makes sense, bro. When you've got a team like this, who, without any question, prior to this season, they were like the guys that pull it out of their butt, right? For some reason, it just worked. They just were able to just play what's in front of them. Natural ability with some stability of broken play straight into a routine or a regime. And they won games, man. This year, he's tried to implement a forward dominant game. Do you know what I mean? That's why I think the forwards are that little bit slower, taking their time. When was the last time, prior to this season, the Chiefs were they would blast you off the ball and that ball was gone. And they had either similar to a 1-4-4-1 scenario, or they'd have a 2-2 on one side and then a third on the other. And you didn't know because you're like, well, there's only 2 of them. Surely they won't go that side. And they do to blast you, do it again to blast you. Next thing you know, you're 4-5 down and it's a 3-on-3, 3-on-2 situation. Do you know what I mean? That's how they played. That was their bread and butter. We're just going to be faster on the ball than you. And when they did lose, they lost to teams that could counter that really well. Stormers did it really well. Crusaders did it really well. But that was only here and there. It wasn't a bloody...
It wasn't consistent.
It wasn't consistent. Do you know what I mean? And you watch what they've done this year, going for the points. Slowing the ball down at the ruck. That's all Northern Hemisphere bullshit rugby, man. That's what Gatlin has been really good at because that's how they play in the Northern Hemisphere. And I think he's tried to bring it down when you've got Cruden in prime form. You've got Weber, who's actually gotten better this year, I thought, but was again, rudderless in that 9 spot. And you've got a forward pack who somehow slowed down. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I purely blame Gatlin and his coaching staff. I think they played the complete wrong rugby for the team that they had. And it just goes to show that Northern Hemisphere rugby doesn't work down here. And look, I'm aware of his success he had prior to going to the Northern Hemisphere, but his coaching, how he coaches now, I can't.
It's scenario based. You've got to go with what you got. You can't just expect to bring in a system. Yeah.
Well, that's what we, as coaches, we talk about this on a regular basis. It's not like we could have the greatest players in the world, but the team that can't do it. So let's have the greatest players in the world that this team can do, because then we're going to get the results.
Yeah.
It was he could have coached any of the Kiwi teams, and it would have been a 0-9 season because
Okay.
the game plan just doesn't work. Especially like if they played the Australian teams, they'd win. No offense to the Australian teams, but Australia play a slower pace to New Zealand. The Chiefs were literally so slow compared to the rest of the Kiwi teams. And you look at this game in particular, how fast that first 20 minutes was, and they were dominating.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Second half slowed it down, and the Canes were smart enough to slow it down too, so that they would kill the ball in between that 2-3 channel because they knew, well, all they're going to do is try and rack, and then they're going to kick for territory, and they did it every time.
Well, I'll pay that. He's definitely not going anywhere. He's gonna be back next season. I hope he adapts. But the one big piece of news that came out is that with the Saracens over in the UK getting relegated, there is a potential for Owen Farrell and Aotearoa to come over and play. They're saying for the Chiefs, but it could be for any Super Rugby team at the moment because they're going to need somewhere to play. Here's
the thing. Gatlin's going to make a play for them because then he's going to use them as like the spearhead for the type of rugby he wants to play.
Oh, if he does that, I'm going to be pissed off. But I hope not. But well,
do you want me to call some of the boys? Call some of the mob out there. You know what I mean?
Not getting Mongrel involved in this or Black Power. None of those guys.
Hey! I was Mob to me's family. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. Okay, get the hell out of here. All right, we'll talk about the last game, which was the Crusaders and the Highlanders.
What a game!
This game,
the greatest tackle of all time. The greatest tackle of all time.
Which one? The Josh Mackay one?
Yeah, dude, that was amazing, bro.
Yeah, that was good.
And also, pace of doom.
Incredible. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But the Crusaders end up securing the Super Rugby Aotearoa Championship. Obviously,
Bastards.
We didn't want to do it. But 4 in a row.
Oh, it doesn't count.
The Highlanders... I'm pretty sure it counts. But the Highlanders definitely didn't make it easy for them. A lot of pressure on the Crusaders early. Frizzell scored a try in 2 minutes. They were half a metre away from scoring a try in 6 minutes in. Another one came 17 minutes in. And I heard Aaron Major was prepping the Highlanders for a final. So they weren't just going into this game as another game. Ash Dixon, he played awesome. Did you expect the Highlanders to be disruptive to the Crusaders that early on in the game?
I expected the Highlanders to come out firing, yes. That was like more than what I thought they could do.
Yeah.
Also, why haven't they played like that all season, post-COVID? So, do you know what I mean? Like, that's
hard out.
They would have definitely won some more games. But yeah, man, Highlanders, bro, that was the best game of footy I've probably seen for a while in regards to both teams just going at it, making mistakes, fixing the mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Like, and just there was no like they were just like it's like kickoff. Like 100%.
I would say the Hurricanes Crusaders game was probably neck and neck with that game because it was just such a great contest.
That's fair.
But we spoke about him, Josh Mackay. He made that outstanding tackle after Bryn Hall made that breakaway. He thought he was away, but I thought when it came to the back three or at least the wingers, you're going up against an possible all-black back three for the Crusaders. Jonah Nareki and Josh Mackay, I thought they played better than them. I thought they had a marvelous game. Bro,
like, first off, just in regards to the tackle, like, kids need to watch that. It ain't over till the guy puts the ball down. Exactly. So you hustle your ass to get to that tackle. Do you know what I mean? You know, you watch some games and you see some players just, like, let him run off. It's like, nah, man. Like, it's only 80 minutes. Run that ball down. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah. You don't get there, right? So if he's going to score the try anyway, at least make it hard for him. And that was just beautiful. That was amazing. So all kids need to watch that. Any rugby player should understand that that's exactly how you're supposed to play rugby.
The devastation that just came out of his face, though, was you could feel that pain. You were sitting there going,
I was so thankful he wasn't like trying to pre-celebrate too, because he wouldn't have let that down if he did. Yeah.
You could see as soon as because he got subbed off straight away. Don't know if that was a tactical sub or
just a pissed off sub. Robbo's just going, you dickhead, off.
get him off. But
Get him
Drummond's not a bad guy to put on in place of him. But I reckon Jonah was someone I found exceptional. He threw an amazing offload while in a tackle. He outgassed Sevu Reece to score a try. And he was also really instrumental in their lineouts where Ash Dixon had a lot of those tactical overthrows where he'd come in. Yeah, so would you take Josh Mackay or Jonah Nareki?
That's a tough one, man.
It's like
that's a tough one. Because here's the thing: it depends who you're playing at 10 and who you're putting at 15, and what type of gameplay you're going to play.
See, this is why you're on this show. There you go.
Yeah. So here's the thing: if you want a more direct crash runner, you choose one. If you're trying to use the ball for territory and high balls, you choose another.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It depends but then it's like, well, then what does your backline look like?
There's so many variables that go.
Do you know what I mean? Like, here's the thing: it's unlike Australia where there are clear players who are just playing better consistently. Yeah, you're talking now and this is the venom in the serum for a All Black selector is, well, what's the coach's game plan? Because we're going to have to choose the players. Again, we're trying to choose the players that can play to what the coach is trying to play, or understand the players you want to pick and make a gameplay suit that. Who would you choose?
I'd probably say consistency. If I was going consistent play, which I usually go for, I'd probably go Josh Mackay because Jonah, he's had some amazing performances, but his consistency in the first few weeks was pretty rubbish. But I think that's if we sit there and over the years, if Jonah can't crack the All Blacks, should he stick with his Fijian roots and go play for Fiji?
Okay, so look, and I hate to say this, but like all the Tier 1 nations do it is, chances are they choose him just so he doesn't play for Fiji.
Yeah, they've done that with a few players actually.
Yeah, David Havili.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he played 4 or 5 tests and then maybe 8 off the bench, and he could have just been playing for Tonga for the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah,
that's the thing, and I'm not trying to be mean, I think Josh Mackay is not going anywhere, so it's like, well, we'll let him develop a bit more. I think Josh Mackay will definitely become a very standout and stellar Mitre 10 Cup player over the next few years, and he'll probably do what kind of the same trajectory that Will Jordan's done, where he's kind of built his way up through the system, and he'll be able to become a standout player. Yeah, man, he's only 23, dude. So do you know what I mean? And for an outside back, they start, you're getting into your prime, usually athletically, especially of the taller type around that 24 to 28 is when they're sort of hitting stride big time, unless you're a freak of nature like Jonah Lomu.
And only comes one of those, but so there's a comparison that I heard recently on another podcast that I actually found really interesting, was that James Parsons, the hooker for the Blues, he said that Josh Ioane looks like a young Richie Mo'unga, which kind of doesn't really make sense to me because they're around the same age. But the Highlanders, I think with Josh Ioane back in the mix, he has similar gameplay, and I think he's made the Highlanders a bigger threat. But do you think that that's true, or do you think that Mitch Hunt did that number 10 jersey justice? Because I think Josh Ioane, I'd probably take him in 10 besides Mitch Hunt. I would probably go Josh Ioane more.
I'd go Josh Ioane more purely off his skill set and his vision in that. And when I say skill set, I mean in an attacking position, he's more lethal.
Because he's still got the same direct pass. He's got that vision, and his step is, I think, the one thing that James Parsons is referring to is when he attacks the line, he does have that Richie-esque step where he can kind of just split the D and then set up that try, or just go hunting for points.
Well, and he's also got that same explosiveness too. Do you know what I mean? He's not afraid to back himself. But Mitch Hunt, on the other hand, Andrew Merton's right? Yeah,
I'd pay that.
Do you know what I mean? Sits in that pocket, delivers ball, doesn't even look, and he knows where the ball's going. Silky, it's like he's in slow motion all the time, just casually playing a game of rugby.
I was thinking about that, like, I think 3 weeks ago. It was especially when he was doing one of his kicks. It literally looked like someone had just, like, slowed it down 30% and just gone, I was like, that does not look legit.
Even the ball, when he drops, it's like, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I can understand the Richie Mo'unga
The comparison.
I think, I mean, it's a fair, I suppose, it's fair. Either that or it's a racist remark. I don't know. Whatever. One's Tongan, the other one's Samoan. We don't all look alike. Thank you very much.
Why you gotta go there?
Russ, I'm just a young Polynesian, bro. I'm just trying to make sure that we're just not
calling out the Pakia boy. All right, thanks, bro.
Nah. But yeah, I think Josh Ioane has a future. It could also go down the Sopawanga route where you're just not going to get a look in at the moment because Richie Mo'unga's not going anywhere. Bowden Barrett's still around. Do you know what it's sort of like, maybe you get a look in, and also Aotearoa Black man, like that dude has to be.
Oh, he has to be considered. Yeah.
Again, the venom in the serum as an All Black selector. It's like, well, what kind of footy? Like, what kind of rugby are we going to play? And if with the similarities comparison, well, Richie Mo'unga's still here. Why do you need Josh Ioane?
They could call it now, if this happens and Josh goes overseas like Sapawanga did, they could call it the Highlanders curse now because basically you're producing these 10s that have All Blacks caps and they're good backup 10s, but then they're all going. Yeah,
look, they'll play international rugby for literally every other team in the world except the All Blacks.
Oh, man, that's sad. All right, we'll talk about the Crusaders. And the first try scored by the Crusaders is why I love Bryn Hall so much as a halfback. Even though he made that massive mistake, he made such an accurate skip pass to Trevor Reese. He followed in open space, set up the try for Richie, and enough said. And I spoke about it with the Chiefs. The Crusaders just do the simple things so well, and that's why they're so dominant. And when it comes to kind of the halfback pecking order, obviously we've got TJ and Aaron Smith up there. Where would you put Bryn Hall in that kind of halfback pecking order?
That's a tough one, man. He's had a really good season, bro. My question would be, if he was playing for the Chiefs, would he still have a good season? Because Brad Weber has actually gotten better this season for a losing team, which I think makes him shine more. Bryn Hall, on the other hand, has had a mildly successful team, and he's been playing really good too. So I haven't seen him have to make the calls and be a sharpshooter when you're down by X amount of points. What I've seen Bryn Hall do is command a team around that's in the hunt still. They're only ever sort of a little bit behind or a little bit in front. So that's the biggest, especially at a 9, you're looking for a leader, not just someone that can facilitate passing a ball. Because then you look at what happened with the Reds on the weekend when they started McDermott off the bench. Do you know what I mean? So, which is no diss to Bryn Hall at all. It's just I don't think he's proven himself to be a leader on the paddock to lead around an All Black squad. Where what Brad Weber was doing for the Chiefs, he was still, you could see the command he has on that field. And regardless of losing 9 games this year, he got better, man. Like he's really impressed me this season.
That's gonna be a tough one if you want to make an argument for Bryn Hall to even be considered for one of those spots, because I think it's going to be even worse because I believe Brad Weber had his first game in South, so I think he's actually eligible for the South
Island,
and then I think you've got Aaron Smith in the North. So if he wanted to crack one of those spots, it's going to be pretty difficult for him. But
but having said that though, he has had a really good season, Bryn Hall.
Yeah, so I think it goes back to that argument where the Crusaders, they do have so many quality players, and Bryn Hall's still a quality player, but you are right. If you did put him in a dynamic where he had to kind of put himself into that position where he had to save the day or do something like that, could he do it?
Yeah, and I think too, like we got to take into consideration his age too. Do you know what I mean? Like he's, he's 28. Or 28-ish. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, if he hasn't cracked it by now, Aaron Smith's on his way out. He's probably got like a year or two left max. But then you've still got TJ, who's the same age, if not a little younger.
Yeah.
You'd have to assume is slotting straight into that spot. Brad Weber's not too far behind. So yeah, that plays a big part too. But like, does he again? Could he make any other international squad? Yes, he could. Yeah. It's just the All Blacks they just stacked in every position 4-5 deep.
It'd be funny if someone came out and because I know Bryn Hall's played for the New Zealand Māori, but you could sit there and go, someone's probably conspiring in the background, going like a Kyrie Irving and going, "Oh, I'm pretty sure he has an Australian passport. He should come play for us." Yeah, please.
Yeah. Look, is he Tongan? Shit, I'll tell you. We'll tell you. You're a Tongan grandparent anywhere, G.
But it shows that you can really never count out the Crusaders because the Highlanders were in that game the whole time. They were above. And the one statistic that I found really interesting that I found out a little while ago is that 31% of the Crusaders' points come past the 60th minute mark. So,
dude, I told you.
Even if they play rubbish in the first half, they're still dangerous. But do you think that it's due to the lack of depth in other teams that gives them that opportunity, or do you think it's just the Crusaders' never say die mentality?
No, dude, this is okay. So we've discussed this personally and on the I think earlier in the season. New Zealand rugby, and this is why New Zealand rugby is so successful. Is it comes from the head down, what they want, what the All Black selectors want teams to play like, right? So I've maintained for the last 10 years. If you watch any All Black game for the past 10 years, watch what happens from the 58th minute onwards. Everything gets shifted. Key players are left on and substitutes are made that seem a little weird, but what happens is it lifts. They lift, right? So if they're playing, I'm not saying they're not playing at 100%, but coming into the 58th minute, they're going to 105, 110, 115, 120. You could say there's that never say die attitude, but it's just how New Zealand rugby is played. It's how All Blacks want their rugby to be played. Now, the Chiefs, Canes, Highlanders all do this, pretty well. The Crusaders do this perfectly. They suck you in. They stay in it just for that to get it, and then come 58 minutes, 60 minutes, they blow you out of the water. They lift it up again. And if we review this game, and you could review any game of the All Blacks, you'll notice little differences from that 58 minutes on. Little things like who's committed to the ruck. During the game, you'll see, they're probably committing 2, 3, or 4. After that, it's literally just a hit, clean, and the ball's gone. And what they do is instead of coming wide and trying to play a wider game, you'll watch the wingers actually creep in during these plays, and they stay in between sort of, if you look at the goalpost between like the left goalpost in the 15 channel and the right goalpost and the right 15 line channel. And they stay in there deliberately because then everyone's cramped in, and then you'll notice the fullback or the blind winger or both split to the open side. And that's what happened on the weekend, with Sever Reece coming around a few times, getting those extra hands. And the Crusaders do this perfectly, this is why they keep Richie Mo'unga out on that, in defensively, out between outside center and the wing, because they know if that turnover happens, he's now got options to swing it this way. You've got a playmaker there. Or if they're doing it in attack, they'll run the fullback to be that sort of like, Havili or whoever it is at the back, or to come in as first receiver, because they're deliberately setting up that second pod to come either in between the sideline and the 15 channel, or between that goalpost or whatever side they're on and that 15 channel. It works. They knew the Highlanders were going full gas, and they just lifted it up, and that's what got the Highlanders in the end. Is they just fell for the trap.
Yeah. Okay, well, congrats to the Crusaders on.
Don't say that. No.
You have to. Come on.
It doesn't count.
It does count. I don't give a shit if it's a pandemic. I don't care.
Look, I'm salty. You're the flavor everyone likes. I'm the salty flavor people spit out. Okay, yeah. I get it. It's fine. It's fine.
Is that the new name of our hip hop group? I like that. It's a long name.
Salty, not salty?
Yeah, salty, not salty. Oh, man.
Yo, that could work, bro.
I'm down.
That could work. Salty, not salty.
I'll
Coming
get
at ya.
I'll get my writing pad out. I'll start becoming you one of your
rapper?
proteges. Yeah, I'll
Let's do
become
it.
I'll become a rapper. I'm down. All right. So as always, before we get into our bonus points segment, we conduct our weekly predictions. And this week, our first matchup in the AU comp is the Force versus the Waratahs. And even though I want the Force to win, I am sick of backing the Force and them letting me down. So I'm gonna back the Tars. Who you got this week?
You can't go past the task.
I
I
keep
bet you the
expecting-
Force win. I bet you the Force win.
I can't wait to do burpees. I can't wait to do them. Because every time I think I've got the handle on this, some team just turns around and goes, "Nah, screw you. We've been listening to your podcast. We're going to turn up. Let's
I know.
go."
It's because of us, bro. We're, we know we're awesome, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Next week, the next matchup we've got is the Reds playing the Rebels. Are you sticking with your boys? Are you staying
I'm sticking with the
Reds?
Reds. I'm staying with the Reds.
All right, I'm going Rebels on this one because I think that with their momentum and with Matty Timor on a tear at the moment, I'm pretty sure they could probably get on top of them. But
do I have any homies that can go and break some legs? Sorry, are we still on air? Oh
shit! Comes a lawsuit coming at your ass. Here we come. Oh boy! In the final week of the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, obviously the Crusaders are taking it out, but we're still predicting we've got Highlanders and Canes.
That may not, but
because of the pandemic, because of the new outbreak. So I'm being optimistic, and I'm gonna hope that because it said that especially with the Highlanders and Canes game, if they go from level 2 to level 1 before Saturday, they still can play the game. I don't know
because it's in Dunedin.
Yeah, I don't know if the Blues in the Crusaders game will go ahead because they've had a little bit of an outbreak. But if you had to choose between the Highlanders and the Canes, I'm gonna go the Canes on this one. I think they can get the W. Who are you backing? I'm just saying it because the Highlanders I think they had a couple of injuries, and I think putting that Crusaders game.
Heart says Highlanders, head says Canes, and I have to go with my head.
Both going Canes on this one. Oh man, if the Highlanders do it, can't wait to do burpees. It'll be awesome.
I know, right?
Good.
So good.
But so if the Blues and the Crusaders go ahead, I'm backing the Blues.
I'm going Blues too. I'm going Blues.
Have to.
And this is purely a hate. This is a hate bet too.
Yeah.
This is a hate bet. Let's not fool anyone. It's 100% a hate bet. We want the Crusaders to lose.
We're not saying here, the Blues are the superior team because you look at it, they're not. They've put together some great performances, but they're not the superior team. And this goes out to all the people that I coached with or who lived in Auckland when I was living there in 2018. No hate. Blues, great team. Great side. Don't hate me for this one. But
exactly.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest here.
It's the reason why
our heads say Crusaders and our hearts say we hate the Crusaders, so we're going Blues.
Valid point. So, hopes and prayers to that. Hopefully that the kind of the outbreak in New Zealand.
You know what? It would just be really good to see that game too, man, because they've just been so superior, this season. It'd just be really nice just to finish the Aotearoa season.
To kind of round it out.
Fly them to Dunedin, New Zealand Rugby Union and let them play there. Do you know what I mean? We don't need spectators, my G. We want 30 dudes to bash each other for 80 minutes in shorts and hot
even though they've already sold 44,000 tickets though, and it's a sold out game.
I know. I'd be pissed, man.
Oh man. But yeah, let's hope that game goes ahead. But it's called the bonus point for a reason. And today's bonus point segment is all about the recent COVID outbreak, not New Zealand, but in Europe. So it was reported last week that multiple clubs in France and England have had a bunch of outbreaks. A few examples: 19 cases have been found in English Premiership players, 3 outbreaks in Super Rugby in France, and a third of the whole Stade Francais squad has now contracted the virus. So a few top 14 teams have already cancelled friendly matches they had planned over the next couple of weeks. Do you think that the top 14 in the Premiership are set to not go ahead even before they get started?
Yes, because they're floundering fools. This is what happens when you don't listen, bro. Yeah, man, it's going to be cancelled. Financially, they just can't afford anything to go wrong. And I mean that via lawsuit. Just take your lost revenue and a healthy squad back together because it really isn't worth it, man.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a conspiracy theorist, you don't think it exists or whatever. They're going to lose money anyway. From a financial point of view, cut your losses. As much as I would love to, and I watch top 14 rugby religiously. I love watching French rugby and I love the European leagues, mostly because my cousin is a highlight reel in that competition. But I just think this is like, here's the thing, bro. They've done the wrong thing. They were stupid, and these are the repercussions. And I'm a big believer in that right now. Do you know what I mean? I just think if you, dude, this is like, getting on the piss and, starting fights. Like, you're a professional player, man. Just calm your farm, stay home, go training. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was really disappointed in this. I'm not saying that it's avoidable, but there are ways and there are guidelines on how, as a professional athlete, you can make sure that your sport goes ahead and you're safe, not for just yourself, but for your teammates and, everyone that's invested in the club and the competition.
I think we've got to bear in mind as well is that I totally agree with that statement because some players have been absolute dickheads. So we want to have a no dickhead policy. And like old mate Lou Williams, who's playing for the Clippers, who went to Magic City to go get wings and go see strippers while he was in an Orlando bubble. Idiot. But at the same time, it could be an organizational thing. They could not be taking the right precautions because I know a lot of the Stade Francais players, as soon as they came back from camp, a lot of them hadn't even gone home. They'd gone into a facility and then they had contracted the virus somehow, some way. So it could be an organizational.
Okay.
So it could be either way. But at the end of the day, thoughts and prayers out to the Stade Francais camp and anyone else who have kind of contracted the virus.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah, who are in danger. But I think this also goes into the international test rugby. So I think a lot of the European teams are going to have a struggle on their hands to prepare.
Well, I mean, it's just going to be like
test matches.
Well, I think like if test matches are approved, and obviously like there's always going to be like harsh restrictions, it's just going to be like a married man with 5 kids and to his wife, they're just going to have to pull out because they're not going to try and risk the chance. I've been planning that one. I was trying to slip it in some way.
I don't think we can end the show better. Like, how can we end the show on a better note? No more words. Let's just leave it there.
No. I think though, they're gonna really have to look at this seriously because it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think it comes down to the same factor as a lot of people are wanting the economy to be stabilized and they want jobs to return. They want people to return back to work and pay those bills. But I'm all for the economy returning, but doing it the right way. We can't try and do all these little things half-assed and then try and just hope that the economy and the community stabilize. Who said, I can't remember who said this quote, but never do 2 things half-assed, whole-ass one thing. So if we do it and we have patience and we do things the right way, it's just what we have to do in these trying times. But
man, totally agree. Yeah.
But once again, safe thoughts and prayers out to everyone who is being affected by that.
Definitely.
We do hope that everyone is okay. Hala, can't wait for our new group to start. We're gonna get stuck on some new songs. We're gonna start writing.
Salt not salty coming at ya.
That's gonna be the best EP ever. But thank you for coming on the show again. Obviously,
thank you. Thanks for listening, guys.
Good luck to your team this week. Are you guys playing another game this weekend, or you got some tournaments this weekend?
Man. So we've got our 5th grade team starting out again this weekend, and then got my 7s all on Sunday. 6 games. How wonderful!
Oh, it'll be good fun. Yeah, try not have too many beers and enjoy yourself on the Saturday.
I mean, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy now. I'm coach. I've got my coaching hat on. Yeah. So being sober on a Sunday, it feels good, man.
Yeah, it feels nice and
sober on a Monday though.
Quarantine. You have to. All right, guys. But thank you so much for joining us with the Bonus Point podcast. We look forward to bringing you an episode next week, and look out for another episode if you're tuning in for the Major League Rugby stuff. We are bringing out an episode tomorrow with our MLR updates episode. But tune in next week. Thank you very much for tuning us on the Bonus Point podcast.